What is up, everybody? The Hunter GT with TheHunterGT.com. That's right, go check out the website. What is going on today? The Nokta-Makro Legend review is finally upon us. That's what's going on today. We got the Pro Pack right here with both coils and the extra lithium poly battery. Exciting and happy times indeed. Want to pick one of these bad boys up? Who are you going to contact? Me, of course. TheHunterGT@gmail.com is my email address. I would love and appreciate your business. I am a dealer for all of those rad companies you see down on the bottom of your screen. Therefore, I have no dog in this fight. I don't care what detector you buy, as long as you buy it from me, being a multi-brand dealer. There is so much hype and BS behind this detector, that detector, and the other detector. I mean, the shills are coming out in force from Nokta-Makro, from XP for the Deus 2, for the Minelab Equinox. It is like a trifecta battle going on, and it's crazy. You know, this one is much cheaper than the other two. This one is almost 3 times cheaper than the XP Deus, and almost half as cheap as, not quite half as cheap as the Minelab Equinox. So yeah, there's definitely some in between as far as budgeting goes, as far as that, but there's a lot of hype. There's marketing hype, there's YouTube hype, social media hype. We're going to try to sift through that. I don't care about any of that. I could care less about all that hype and BS. We're just going to let this detector stand on its own 2 feet today, run it through all the paces that we normally do, and leave it at that. So there it is. Let's check out the box. Someone recently commented, "Why do you always check out the boxes, Hunter GT? It's stupid. It's a waste of time." Well, there's a ton of information on the boxes. It's not a waste of time. When you've reviewed as many detectors as I have, it can get confusing with all the different ID numbers and all the information that you're trying to memorize in your head. I have direct access to information right here. I don't have to memorize it for the video, and you get to follow along. There you go. Hopefully that is a logically explained answer for you, commenter in the YouTube section. Changing the game for multi-frequency. Well, there's some of that marketing hype we talked about. Do not accept paying more for less. I like that one. I can agree with that one. IP68, waterproof up to 3 meters, 10 feet. Waterproof DD search coil and cover, 28 centimeters, 11 inches, the LG28. It also has the LG15 in the box, which is a 15 centimeter, 6-inch circular round DD coil. Carbon fiber lower shaft. It does fit the simplex. It's the same lower shaft as the simplex. So it's everything here is a direct upgrade path from the simplex. Brilliant move on Nokta-Makro's part, in my opinion. If you own a simplex and want to upgrade to a multi-frequency, this is a no-brainer, in my opinion. I see no other reason to upgrade personally. I see no other reason to upgrade from a simplex to anything else if you like the simplex and enjoy the simplex and want to upgrade into multi-frequency. I see no reason to get anything else. It accepts the same lower shaft and everything. It feels the same. It's the same ergonomics, yada yada. Shaft retracts down to 63 centimeters, 25 inches, easy transport and underwater use. It extends out to 132 centimeters, 52 inches, I want to say off the top of my head. Warranty 3 years, advanced discrimination settings, noise cancellation and frequency shift, recovery speed setting, 60 target IDs and harmonic tones, adjustable threshold for custom user profiles, easy operation, vibration, backlit LED or LCD and LED flashlight, lightweight, long battery life, we'll talk about that. Online firmware update, Qualcomm aptX low latency Bluetooth headphones right there. If you do not like those and want to use your own headphones, make sure they are low latency aptX type. Faro check, detect less modern trash. 4 search modes, park, field, beach, Goldfield, built-in time and built-in clock and time tracking. I like the time tracking. That's pretty neat. It tells you how long you have used the detector. SMF, simultaneous multi-frequency, 2 multi and 5 single frequencies, 4, 10, 15, 20, and 40 kilohertz right there. All right, so there is the box. See, look at all that information we would have missed if we just jumped right into it, and I had to remember all that off the top of my head. Get out of here with that. So this is going to be a long-winded review. You know, my review videos, like always, blah, blah, blah. It may be 45 minutes, this one. We're going to cram it all into one video. Lots of information to talk about. So without further ado, why don't you shut your face, the Hunter GT, and let's take a look at this here legend. All right, here we go. We got it all laid out, opened up. The legend hat. You get a Nokta-Makro legend hat. Comes pretty scrunched up. Both of mine came fairly scrunched up, but I'm sure if you wear them or throw them in the wash for a couple hours, they will straighten right out. You get this little headphone pouch here. It's like a faux leather. I don't know, it might be real leather. I don't think it is. It's like faux leather, a little pouch. I use it for all the accessories and wires and stuff. You can use it for the headphones or whatever you want. Code of ethics card here. You get an important warning that you should heed if you are going to use the battery pack in the Pro Pack about the little rubber washer there, the water seal. Make sure you heed that warning. Nokta-Makro Bluetooth headphones user guide, and a pretty decent magazine-sized user manual here. I mean, this thing's got some colored pictures, highlighted fonts and everything. It highlights the important parts. It's a pretty decent manual here. It is a pretty decent manual, I must admit. Let's start with the coils here on the right-hand side. Look at those coil ears. Boy, you are never going to break those, are you? They have cross beam supports. Look at those little cross beam supports right there. 2 cross beams. They are super extra thick. Oh, you couldn't break these if you tried. I think if you were to break these, Nokta-Makro would have every right to say, what the heck were you doing? How did you possibly break this coil connection? And you see how the whole coil bit, it sinks into the coil. See how it's like a separate, see the little square section? So I think that if there is a problem, they can just remove it, attach it right back onto the coil. It's probably going to be a quick fix. Probably going to be a quick fix. I don't know, though. You get extra coil bolt hardware right here. You see one of them is square. You see that square one? All the rest are circular and normal-like. Why? Well, on the LG15, the 15 centimeter coil, you see the cross bolts there, but you see it has a square side right there. So Nokta-Makro, with their smaller coils, they like to use a little square support thing. On their larger coils, they don't for some reason. I don't know why. It's an engineering call, I guess, something like that. But this one too, even the small coil, look at those ears. They are crazy tough cross members on there. So very good, very good. Any of you people with concerns over coil ear breakage, worry not. You are good to go. So it's got those cruiser amphibio type black raised buttons. Very nice. They decided to ditch the simplex domes. I wasn't really too much of a fan of the simplex domes, the clear domes. They can get dirty, make it hard to see what's underneath. I like these. I've already seen people use like a white paint pen and fill in the little grooves to make the color pop. I think that's pretty good. I already have it memorized, so I'm probably not going to do that, but very well built. Displays very nice. Super scratchy plastic like every other Nokta-Makro product and every other metal detector product. It's not just Nokta-Makro. The screens, the plastic on them, ultra scratchy. I would suggest just leaving that little display cover on, or buying a cut to fit, or buying the complete cover, the environmental cover that goes over the whole unit. I highly recommend it because you will scratch this plastic even if you just rub your finger on it. A paper towel will scratch this plastic. That is how low on the hardness scale this plastic is. A paper towel will scratch it. And it's not just Nokta-Makro. It's other detector companies as well. So on the back here we have the speaker, little LED light right there, charge port, and it uses the same charge cable as the simplex amphibio cruiser. So if you have those cables laying around, you have spares basically. Coil connection right there, and it comes with a little cover here with a little wire, a little stainless steel wire. It's pretty neat that when you're done charging it or whatever, if you're not using wired headphones, well, see if we can get it to thread in there. I don't think I can even get it to thread. I'm such an idiot. There we go. So you see it threads in like that. It just hangs right there. You don't ever lose it. Grip, nice, and it's like a tire rubber. It's like that XP Deus 2 tire rubber. You see it has like an extra little knurl right there for your hand to go on it. It's kind of neat, but it's like hard and soft rubber at the same time. I don't know how to explain it. It's very, very good. I am a fan of the grip. Locking collar there for your upper aluminum shaft right there. And no padding from Nokta-Makro. They don't do padding on there. Not too many expensive detectors do padding for some reason. I'm not sure why. I like padding on my armrest, but you know, some of them don't do it. And that little thing there underneath the arm stand is for the extra battery pack. We'll take a look at that. So very well built machine, super high quality. Standard charging cable. Like I said, if you have one of these cables for the Simplex Amphibio Cruiser, you have an extra. They do work. Arm strap, standard stuff there. Headphones, very good quality. Very good quality. These Bluetooth headphones that they packaged in the box. It's got a up button, down button right there. So you just hit the top there to increase volume, hit the bottom of it to decrease. So it has a microphone. Check out, that's a microphone. You can take calls with this on your cell phone. If it connects to Bluetooth, you have a 3.5 millimeter wired connection, USB micro on-off button, and a mode button. So yeah, they're very good headphones. I am a fan of these headphones. Compare them to some of the headphones they are boxing in the other new release that's out recently that are atrocious headphones, and the company should be ashamed of themselves for boxing them in the box. These are awesome. I like these headphones. Very good. And they come with a little USB micro charging cable right there. So the battery, that extra battery stick, seems like everybody's talking about this stick thing. So there is a USB mini cable on the back. So this is just a charger. You see those 4 little prongs in there, those little male prongs? They are going to go into the back of the battery here, there. So the battery, and this is the battery itself. It's got that little rubber O-ring on it that does have oil on it. So be careful. As you can see, I touched it on accident, and then I touched the rest of the device or the battery, and now it's got little oily fingerprints all over. But anyways, that slides right in to the back like that, and then it's gonna just kind of, you'll feel it like bump and kind of stick in there. So you stick your USB cable. It comes with a separate one here for the USB mini. You can see right there. So that's going to go in the back right there. You're going to plug the other end into your charger on your wall charger, and that charges the battery. And then the battery comes out and sits in the housing unit right here that has the cable, as you can see, that connects into the back. So this slides right in there. Do I have it upside down? Yeah, I have it upside down. It only goes in one way and then it stops. So as you can see, the rubber piece has to go in all the way, and then you turn this, and now you are water sealed. Now you're watertight. That's what that warning paper is. And then you just remove this little bolt here, slides right into the back here, and then your bolt goes right in there to fix it up. Pretty easy stuff. I think you guys can figure it out. Anybody that watches my channel is a smart genius. So there is the lower carbon fiber rod. Spit it out, you idiot. Right there. This one has a little more polyurethane coating on it than the Simplex one, but they are identical. They both fit into the upper shaft the same way. They both have the same bottom rubber washers on it and everything. They are identical. Upper and lower shafts on the Simplex. There is the upper shaft. It is aluminum, little locking collar right there, and then it does have a graduation. I can't get it to zoom in right there. You see that graduation line on it? Well, you can see it. You see a graduation line. Excuse the blur, but right there, that tells you how far you need to recess it in to the upper end of the Legend itself there. So that's everything in the box right there. Everything up close, personal, very well built. I mean, you're not going to have any breakage issues, I wouldn't think. You know, I can't tell the future, but everything seems to be just super overbuilt like every other Nokta-Makro product. I mean, it's just, they're built like tanks, and this is no different. But it's a tank quality build, but it's super ergonomic and light. I mean, with the carbon fiber rod, and especially with this battery in the back, balancing it out even better. Yeah, it's a dream to swing. It's, you know, it's not XP Deus with the remote in your pocket, lightweight, but I don't think anybody's ever going to call this nose heavy or a heavy detector, anything like that. Very, very good on the ergonomics. The grip is fantastic. I think you're going to love the way this one feels in hand. So let's check out the remote, or not the remote, I guess, but the display unit, the head unit, the menu, the settings. Let's go bust that out next. All right, here we go with the faceplate, menu, setup, all that good stuff. We have our buttons right here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 total buttons. You got power settings here on the bottom right, ground balance here. On the bottom, we have our accept, reject, / pinpoint. We have a left, right, up, down, plus, minus on the up, down. This is our frequency shift, and this is our discrimination button right here. So we're going to hold on the power. Right there, we have LD, loading defaults. We are on firmware 1.05. Right there. We have recently updated it. We have a little beep telling us we are turned on. Top left, we see the battery icon. Towards the middle there, underneath the first E, we see the number 2 next to a little person. That means I am in a profile 2. You can save 4 different profiles under each mode for a total of 16. So park mode, you can have 4 profiles. Field mode, you can have 4 profiles. Beach, gold mode, 4 profiles each for a total of 16 profiles. See a little backlight icon. That top row there on the very top is going to be like your information row. Then on the top right, you see the time, 1:29 p.m. Next row are going to be our modes. You see it as on park mode. You see the little square. See how it bounces back and forth? So we got park, field, beach, and gold. Park, field, beach, gold. We have our conductivity scale right underneath that. You see C, and then 1, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. It is a 0 to 60 ID scale. We can hit our discrimination button right here to run all metal. You can see no notches in there now. Or you can hit it again for G. It looks like the number 6, but it stands for G. And you can see now 2 notches are set. We can do F, which is non-ferrous, or ferrous is out, or custom. And you can set up custom notches by holding it down. And now you see we are in this mode. You see that little dot underneath the ferrous line there? Or on the conductivity scale, that little line, that little dot, you can see me moving it left or right there. See it moving left or right? Well, now as that's moving, if I hit my bottom pinpoint accept reject button, you can see I can start putting notches in wherever I want. You see that? So I can set up notches. I can move over and set up a bunch more here if I want to. So it's pretty intuitive setting up notches. It's all about holding down this button and then cycling through left and right, and then accepting that spot with this accept reject. You'll see the little check mark X button on there. So pretty easy. You hit that to bump back out of it. Now we have all these notches saved. I'll fix it later, but you can see now on the conductivity scale we do have notches. ID is right here in the middle where it's blank blank. You will get a 0 to 60 ID. Depth meter on the right hand side here with a little pickaxe. Each of those little boxes is like 2 inches, I'd say, roughly. And if they're all full, it's a deep target. If only one is full, the top one, it's a shallow target. Left hand side, we have sensitivity. That bar, you can see it lower. And now we're going to raise it all the way up, and you can see it raise and lower as we hold it down. And now we start to get some EMI interference there. We're in gold mode. There we go. So we're going to run it back down to 10. And you can see the little bars right here start to lower as we lower it back down. So we'll lower it down to like 5 right there. So then we see this little symbol with an M underneath it. That corresponds to this button here. Those symbols cycle, or that symbol means frequency. So we have multi 2, 4 kilohertz, 10 kilohertz, 15, 20, and 40 kilohertz, okay? Now in gold mode, you only have 40 and 20. And in beach mode, you only have multi-wet and multi-dry. Okay, you cannot do the singular 4, 10, 15, 20 in beach mode. And in gold mode, it only gives you multi or 20 or 40. Right here we have non-ferrous, Right here we have ferrous on our ferrous non-ferrous meter, and then we are going to hit here our menu options, and now you see all of our menus light up right here. So we are going to go left through right here. This is our frequency shift right here. You can select 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 all the way up to 13, or I can hit the accept reject button here, and we'll see it cycle through automatically. See, I'm not touching anything now, and it will cycle through, find a frequency that is EMI lessened. It chose frequency 1, so there's literally no EMI in here, basically, is what it's telling me, because the sensitivity is all the way down. So next one over is going to be recovery speed. Follow along the little box here on bottom. You see that little box? You guys see it as I move? See how that little box corresponds? Okay, so that is frequency shift right there. We have recovery speed now. It goes from 1 all the way to 10. I find 7 is very good for nail tests and certain testing that I've seen. 7 seems to be the lucky number 7, basically. So there is your recovery speed. And then let's check it here. We will go back out. If we go over to beach, let's go check that again. Now we can hold down the accept reject, and now we have ST. That is your saltwater stability. And you can run that up to 5 or 1, and then you hit accept reject back again, and now you are back into the recovery speed mode. So there are quite a few hidden menus and such in this detector, so we'll just stay in beach mode for now. Next one over is your volume. This is your master volume. It does affect the headphone volume, and any volume settings you have in notches, it affects those as well. So okay, so you can mute it, or you can run it up to 6. 6 is quite loud. It is a quite loud speaker on this detector. Next one over, we have volume tones, and this is where all of your hardcore settings come into play. So I press up again, and now we see I am in the first box here, tone with a bunch of numbers next to it, and this is my tone setting. So I can go 1 tone, 2 tone, 4 tone, 6 tone, 60 tone. And we notice if I'm in 1 tone right here, my tone break option disappears. That's what that left right arrow stands for, tone break. So we can go 4, 6, 1, 2, 4, 6, 60. 1 tone, 2 tone, 4 tone, 6 tone, 60 tone. Okay, and in gold mode it is only 1 tone only. So that is tones. We go over to tone volume, and here let's go back here, and we are going to run it in 6 tones so I can show you tone breaks and stuff like that. Yeah. So we'll go 6 tones. Okay, so now we're going to go over tone volume. We're going to press up again. So once you're on the second row, it's all about pressing up to get into the setting here. Now we are in the first tone segment here. So the first segment is going to be 0 or 1 to 10, 10 to 20 is number 2, 20 to 30 is number 3. So you can see right here is the segment you are in. You see how it says 1? If I press left and right now, I'm in segment 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And you can see each of the segments in 6 tone are 10 wide. Okay? We can adjust that here in the next bit. So this is just the volume setting. So we have six different tone settings here. 6 different tone settings, and here, so I can change the volume. So right now, iron volume, which is 1 to 10, was down at 1 default. You can mute it, you can run it 1. So this range now, I can run volume 5. This range, I can leave max. This range, I can run volume 3. This range, I can run volume 8. This range, I can run max, and it saves that. So it's kind of like a volume notch. So for sections, it's very similar to the MindLab Equinox, basically. Okay, so once we have that set, we can click the accept reject right here, get you back down into your next menu down. Okay, and then you press it again, and it gets you back down into your next menu down. Okay, see how the box went here? I press up, the box goes up to the second row. I press up again, and now I'm in that menu. If I want to go back down, I don't press down. I got to go all the way to the bottom here, press this, and that gets me back down into the next menu down, okay? So right now we're on tone volume. I go over here now, and we are on tone pitch. So now we're going to press up, and my iron tone now is tone 1. My next one is going to be tone 7, 10 to 20. Now 20 to 30 is tone 13, 30 to 40 is tone 19, 40 to 50 is tone 25, and 50 to 60 ID is tone 30. So as you can see, every 10 we're going up, we're basically going up the tone scale. So it's going to be a boom, 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 low tone, kind of like a mid tone, low mid, mid, higher mid, even higher mid, and then super high tone. So you can adjust all of these from 30 and you can hear it. So there's iron tone, is basically that. So there's your tones, okay? Those are the 30 tones that you can put on it, and then you can adjust them wherever. Now, say you don't want these tone breaks to be just 10 wide. So you're like, hey, HunterGT, I want to adjust these breaks a little wider than that, or narrow them up. Well, that's the next one over with the arrow pointing left and right. So I go over here, and now we are in the tone break. So see how it says 1 through 10? I can, oh, sorry, I hit the wrong button. So 1 through 10, I can raise it to extend that tone break, or I can lower it. Now it's only going to go as high as the one next to it, so you can't raise it up into the next one over. It's going to see how it stops me at 19. I have to go over to the next tone break 2 is at 20 now, and I can raise it, and it won't let me lower it because tone 1, the break is at 19 now. If I go back to 1 and lower it to say 10, now I can go over to 2 and see how my tone break now, I can lower it down to 11 since the first one set at 10. So I hope that makes sense. Each tone break is you're only gonna be able to go as high or low as the one on the other side of it, okay? So with this one, we can raise it all the way up to 29, and it's gonna stop because tone break 3 starts at 30 to 40, tone break 4 starts at 40 to 50, tone break 5, 50 to 60, you know what I'm trying to say here. So pretty self-explanatory. Once you get the hang of it, I'm sure you guys can get the hang of it. So next setting over is going to be threshold. I don't run a threshold unless I'm gold prospecting. To each their own. You can hear it. Goes all the way up to 30 volume. Hopefully you guys can hear that. And then the pitch. So there you go. I run with 0 threshold, unless I'm gold prospecting. 0 threshold for me. So there we go. So that is basically all of the tone option settings right there. That is your advanced tone option settings. Next one over here, you see this little person on bottom. You press up, and now we are going to see this little guy show up with a 2. We can press up, down, and get a 3. And see how number 1 has a check mark in it? That means number 1 is saved. Number 2, I don't have a save in it. So I can press and hold the accept reject, and now I got a check mark in there, and it is saved. All these settings I just saved are in profile 2 for beach. Profile 2 for beach, okay? If I want to reset it now, I can press right, and you see that little like save, the little hard disk icon goes over to a reset. Oop, I must have pressed up. So it doesn't, let me look here. I can't see past the camera what I'm trying to, okay, so there we go. So now I can go there, and it's a little circle with 2 arrows, like a yin-yang symbol chasing each other. That's a reset. So now I hit this, and you see that checkbox disappeared. All my notches went away and everything, and I'm back. It's factory reset for this program. Basically, there is no factory reset that resets everything, but you can factory reset each of your profiles back to normal mode, all 16 of them, and basically be in a factory default setting. Okay, so there's that. Let's go back down. Here we have our backlight. We have off, and then all the way up to 5, and then A1, A2, which is auto, which means it will turn off eventually. After X amount of seconds, it will turn off, and you will not have to deal with it. Only when you go over, make a menu change setting or go over a target will it turn on. Vibration setting, 1, 2, all the way up to 5. All right, that's your vibration. Little flashlight on the back, you can see. Little flashlight turning off and on. It doesn't have a brightness setting, it's either off or on. And then we have our Bluetooth. One is connected to them, so turn your headphones on. Turn your headphones on. Go up to 1, and then press the accept reject button, and it will connect. And if you want to disconnect them, you go to 0, press accept reject, and they will disconnect. You'll see the little Bluetooth icon with a LL. It stands for low latency. You'll see the headphone icon, and then next to it, the Bluetooth icon, which means you are connected to your Bluetooth headphones. It's pretty easy. I have yet to have them disconnect or anything like that. They are very stable so far, so good. So next one over is time. You press up here, and now you see you can change it from 12 to 24 hours just by pressing up or down, 12, 24 hours, and then pressing left will get you into the hour. You see the little underline, and then minutes. So you can change hours and minutes. So I can change it from 1, 2, 3, 4 o'clock. We'll go change it back, and then you can go over to AM or PM like that. It is PM, so we'll leave it there. And then we go back down, and then we are going to have the hours you have used it. You can see on this one, I've only used this one for 2 hours. This is the one I've been saving for the review. My other one has many, many hours on it, dozens of hours. So 2 hours on this one, you can see it has hours, days, months, and years broken into sections there. So if you enjoy keeping track of your time, there you go. You can if you so desire. So there is the Legend menu in a nutshell. I'm sure I missed some little feature here and there. Read the manual. I say in every review video, read the manual 10 times over. They are always better than what I can teach you here in this review video. So there is the Legend setup, the menu, the buttons, and everything like that. Hopefully it can get you on your way to making some adjustments. Like I said, read the manual, fiddle, play around, all that good stuff. What do you say we check out the performance aspect of this here detector next and run it through the old HunterGT paces? Okay, here we go. We are in field mode, multi-1, maxed out, 60 tones. So let's just go through the basics here. We got a nickel. Let's start with the nickel here. We're out to 12, 13, about 13 before we lose it to the EMI. Try this gold ring, a very thin 10K wedding band. Out to about a foot before we start to lose it. Wheat penny, copper. Out to a foot, about 13 inches before we start to lose repeatable hits. Silver dime. We are at recovery speed 5, halfway. So if I jumped it down to 1, of course we would probably go out to 13, 14 inches, something like that. I figured this is a nice midpoint marker for a test. I almost thought about doing it at 1. I was like, not too many people are probably going to hunt at 1. I almost thought about doing it at this. I just figured halfway. So this is the halfway point of recovery speed, 5 out of 10. And we're getting it out to about the quarter, 13 inches roughly on the quarter. Eagle button, small little eagle button. I'm getting that out to about, we're still getting hits out to 11. I'd say to 11. 3 ringer, Civil War bullet. and about 11 as well on that big sucker. And then we have a silver $half. We're out to about 13 before we stop getting repeatable hits. And then the French Syntime. Most detectors love this French Syntime. We are out to 14, 15, almost 16, and we're still getting repeatable hits on that French Syntime. So yeah, so a great air tester. As we saw in the versus video, I'm not doing a soil test, and I'm not doing the 6-inch coil. Number one, I'll revisit the 6-inch coil in a separate video. And we saw the dirt test that I did in the versus video with the CTX, the Nox, the Legend, and the Deus 2. This drops off at about 8 inches in my soil, or I'm sorry, hits 8 inches, drops off at 9, nothing at 10 in my soil. So 2 inches, I can get a banging hit at 8. 2 inches, so what? 2 inches deeper, I get nothing. 2 inches deeper, I get nothing. So, and the Deus was the same, nothing at 10. The Equinox was very iffy at 10. The CTX was hitting it, but it was calling the dime. Ferris here and there. The CTX definitely did the best of the four. But yeah, this does just as good as the Deus 2 and Equinox in bad soil, in my opinion. In cotton candy soil, you may get air test numbers, you know, something like that. You may dig a 14-inch target, not my soil. So 8 inches is the max roughly, and then 9 and 10, you're basically getting nothing. You're getting a heavy drop off after that. So, all right, let's go move on to the next bit. Okay, let's start off with the gold. Can it hit the gold? Everybody wants to know if it can hit the gold. There's the 0.3 gram picker right there, 3/10 of a gram. There is the sub 10th gram picker. That doesn't even register on a gram scale. You need a grain scale to get that one. So, can it hit them? Let's find out. We are in gold mode. We have a ton of VMI right now. Being in the garage, all metal, gold mode, maxed out. You would never hunt like this in a gold field, but let's try it. No problem. This is 20 kilohertz. Well, it's definitely hitting it. Definitely hitting it. Let's go to 40. No problem. No problem. Pretty good. And then multi-mode. I assume this is going to hit it no problem. Boy, look at the listen to that EMI now. All right, multi-mode. Every channel. Screaming. I can raise up about an inch and a half before I lose it. So there's not much distance before I lose it. Holy cow. That is bonkers, huh? Bonkers. So, definitely hits the small gold, even with a big coil. We're going to check out the smaller coil in a second video. I'm not going to focus on the second coil today. I know it's a Pro Pack review, but I'm going to make the small coil its own video. I know it'll hit this, but I'm going to give it its own little 15-minute video coming up, so keep an eye out for that. But anyways, big coil hits the small gold. We know for sure the small one's going to hit it. Let's move to the next. 5 dimes. We are recovery speed 1 right here. I'm just going to stay in the recovery speed menu here. Here's 1. So I can get it to miss right away. You can hear it. So let's bump it up to, let's bump it up to 5. Much much faster. I can still get it to miss at 5. Let's go to 10. Okay, we can't get it to miss at 10. Let's try 8. No, it's still hitting everything at 8. Let's try 6. All right, I can get it to mesh at 6, so 7. So it seems to me 7 is the sweet spot. 8, 9, 10 are even better than that. 7 seems to be the sweet spot to where it turns on. It turns on the quick, super quick. I can get it to miss at 6 and under. I can get it to miss them, or it just can't separate them at 6 and under at this distance anyway. So as soon as you hit 7, and in iron tests I've done as well, 7 seems to be the lucky number with iron tests that I've done. So we'll see how it does in Monty's nail board test, and maybe we'll do a quick raised nail test. We'll try to duplicate Iffy signals test or something like that. Yeah, so anyways, there it is. 7 seems to be the lucky number. Very, very fast detector. Just another little thing on recovery speed. Now they're all, look at that, they're all inside the coil right there. The 2 outside ones are right on the rim there. So all of them, we are at 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So go slow down the video maybe to like 0.5, 0.25, take a listen. I don't know, it seems pretty darn fast. Sounds like it was hitting all of them for the most part. Pretty cool. Okay, here's a very, very tough test for detectors. As you saw in the XP Deus review, it struggled with this test. And we all know the XP Deus is one of the most fantastic separators, recovery speed detectors around. The reactivity on that thing is insane. So what it is a dime, nickel, dime, nickel, dime, nickel, dime at about, 3 inches apart, roughly. So 3 to 4 inches, I'd say. So let's listen. So the dime's a high tone. That's a nickel. Look, even iodine, 26 when you cherry pick it right there with 2 dimes under the coil. That's a 26 ID. 46 for, it's iodine it right when you cherry pick it. So it's a very good little wiggle cherry picker in my opinion. Very good. So here we go. Recovery speed 10. In my opinion, the Fisher Technetics machines are the best at this test for some reason. I don't know why. They're not the fastest machines. They're definitely not the slowest. The F75 in fast audio, the Patriot / F70, they're extremely fast. They're very, very fast detectors, but they handle this for some reason better than any other detector can. But this one does very good, as you'll see. So that's what we're listening for. Kind of like an ambulance. A European ambulance. So it is nulling out the dimes a little bit, but I don't know. I'd have to go watch the Deus 2 review video again to see, to take a listen. I mean, no, I'm not running it through every single mode and every, this and that. I'm not sitting there wasting hours and hours. I'm not comparing it to the Deus, but for this one test, just... I think as you get closer and closer, the Deus starts to win, but it was suffering from the gnawing effects as well, definitely, the Deus 2. Like I said, not a comparison. I'm letting the Legend stand on its own 2 feet. Very tough test. Try to duplicate this at home. Play around with this. A dime, nickel, dime, nickel, dime, nickel. It's pretty eye-opening for you guys that hunt in trashy parks where the nickels would signify aluminum piece, a piece of aluminum can slaw. Don't think of it as a gold ring right now. Think of it like as an aluminum piece or something like that, masking a dime next to it or whatever. It definitely happens. Everybody thinks nails, nails, nails. Well, you trashy park hunters better wake up. You're thinking, oh, I don't hunt bed of nails. I'm okay. I don't need a fast separating machine. I don't need this and that in my detector. Well, wake up. You do. Aluminum tests and stuff matter for you guys just as much as nail tests do. All right, here's Monty's nail board test. I have park, field, and beach all set up the same way. Tone break, let's look at the settings here. So recovery speed, we're gonna bump it down to 8. Tone break, 6 tone. Tone break is 6. It seems to be the sweet spot for the tone break for some reason with nails. So iron tone is 1. Everything else we're gonna put at 30. I have field set up at 30. I think beach is all at 20. It says in the manual, keep ferrous, non-ferrous, totally different ends of the harmonic scale. So we are going to do that, and let's see what happens. So here we go. Let's go all metal. What are we? We're still in the menu. There we go. So as you can see, we're getting an iron tone. We get a little pop here and there, a little false, nothing I'm too concerned about. I can't repeat the falses, so I'm okay with a few of them. Here's the Indian head penny. Pretty clear difference. So that is what we are looking for right there. Pop it in the number 1 spot, and here we go. Definitely hitting it. When you cherry pick it, no problem. This is a great cherry pick machine. If you hear a beat like that going across, and then you don't every once in a while, you need to start doing this. You need to start doing that if you get every once in a while type hits. You can even start over here and then just scrub it across, and you will do it. It's very good center of the coil. Very good. Number 2, and I cannot get this one to hit usually. Like I said, we'll try out the smaller coil in the next video. I'm going to give it its own video, run it through some tests. Number 4. No problem. All right, let's move it over to the number 2 spot. Like I said, this is all park mode. Let's start with 3. No problem. It loves number 1. It loves number 1. Number 2. You get little ticks sometimes. I don't know if you'd investigate that or not. It's up to you. Can't cherry pick that one. Number 4 is pretty tough on a lot of detectors. So let's bump it over real quick. A lot of people say field mode does better. It's the exact same settings in field mode. So got it bumped over to field mode now. Oh, we need to all metal it. There we go. Multi 1. I got the this one compared to Park. Doesn't make a difference though. It's just more annoying. Let's try multi 2, see if that helps. We're in M2 now. So it does not like the number 2 sweep. So let's try like 40 kilohertz, see how it does. That can do well in nails sometimes. I'm just curious. We're just playing here for the review real quick. Well, we're getting hits now at 40 kilohertz. Look at that, 40 kilohertz, now we're getting hits. It's that left side. Yep. So it's getting it at 40 kilohertz. That's, you know, that's why multi-frequency will never truly place single frequency detectors. Are they the future? Absolutely. Do I prefer multi-frequency over single? Absolutely. But you can never rule out single frequency. Don't scoff when a company releases a single frequency detector like the Simplex and it goes on to be one of the best-selling detectors of all time. So it's definitely hitting it better in 40 kilohertz. We're gonna move it real quick here and then we're gonna wrap this nail test up. It's only that long way that it doesn't really like. We're getting hits going this way now. Just a little chirp. Anyways, there it is, guys. Interesting stuff. Hopefully once that iron bias comes out, we can revisit this test. I'm sure everybody on YouTube will be once that update comes out. Let's go check a quick elevated nail test and visit that. All right, here we go with a raised nail test. You can see I have 2 square nails on the end. With the end pieces, they're almost as wide as the mercury dime I'm going to use, and they are on a brick. As you can see, they're a couple inches in the air there. I'm going to show you something here. They ring up as 5, so that is exactly where my break point has been set. If I put it at 4, they ring up high tone. Watch, I'll show you guys. So if I go in here and set my breakpoint to 4. Sorry, that's super loud, sorry. Set it to 5. And then the dime sounds good. Okay, so Park and Field are both set up like that. We're gonna try it at 40 kilohertz. There it goes. Let's bump the dime over here. We're getting no false hits. Let's try it. And we are recovery speed 8. Let's try 7. We're getting one little tick. Let's go 10. I can get a left hit with it. So I'm getting a left way hit. Let's move it out. I'm just about scraping the nails off, so I'm still getting a one-way hit, getting 2 ways sometimes. Certain, well, right there on the coil, it likes that. So like if you tip the coil, like the tip of it, not tip the coil like sideways, the tip is what I meant, like the tip of the coil, or it seems like certain spots have like right there, the back third, right underneath the shaft, it seems. So, I don't know. You can hear it till you creep up on the nails. And then they start to take over. And you can still hear a little pop here and there. So that's 40 kilohertz. Let's try multi. So it's hitting it. Let's try park mode. See if it likes that. All metal. So I'm getting one-way hits in 40 kilohertz. Oops, I hit the wrong button. Back to all metal, multi-1. Let's try multi-1. You can hear the EMI turn on. So you get it sometimes. But I feel 40 kilohertz, if you're in heavy nails, that's your best friend. Long live high kilohertz machines in bed of nail scenarios. That's why every gold prospecting machine pretty much passes nail tests like they're nothing. There's both ways in field mode. Now that's not the wrench Iffy Signals was using or anything crazy like that, but I think the update has helped. If you watch Cal Cobra's videos, shout out to him doing this similar test. I think this update might have helped because he had the dime even further out and wasn't getting hits. But like I said, he had different nails. I'm using 2 nails. I'm not sure how big his nails were. I'm not sure how big the brick he was using was elevated. You know, there's so much, you know, this isn't a scientific method. You know, we're not in like a vacuum chamber all wearing gloves and white suits here. We're not, you know, these aren't lab results here. So take it with a grain of salt. I mean, look at all the metal in this room. Look at all the metal in here from the racks here, the workout racks and stuff. I mean, we got compressor, metal racks over here. So grain of salt needed with any test. You know, I'm not driving 50 miles out in the middle of nowhere just to do a review video. So it is what it is. I subject all the detectors to this EMI. I subject them all to the surrounding environment. So none of them get a fair shake, basically. So grain of salt, grain of salt, grain of salt. What do I think about this here detector? Well, I'm hoping the iron bias update that they say that they are going to produce helps it for you relic hunters. I don't think it's terrible for you relic hunters. Are there better machines out there? Sure, why not? Is it the end-all, be-all machine? Absolutely not. It's $635 for the standard pack, $765 for the pro pack. I think once they figure out that iron bias, you know, I mean, I'm not going to poop on any other company, but you got to look at the build quality, you got to look at the performance, you got to look at a lot of stuff. Now, I'm not doing a depth test in the soil test. If you want to see that, go back and look at the versus video I did with the CTX, the Equinox, the DS2, and the Legend. They all hit basically 8 inches, no problem, and then at 10 inches, they all basically dropped off the face. This handles my California soil as good as the Equinox and as good as the DS2, and almost as good as even the CTX was calling that dime at 10 inches iron sometimes. It's still ID'd as silver. Let's be clear, the CTX was the king of that test, but it still was reading iron on the scale every few sweeps or so. I mean, this soil is nasty, but this hit the 8-inch coin just like the DS2, just like the Equinox, and then at 10 inches, it couldn't hit it at all. The DS2 couldn't even hit it, and that was in deep high conductor mode with all the filters at 0, you know. I mean, it was... So, like I said, the grain of salt. I'm not comparing it to the DS2, $1,600 detector. That's stupid in my opinion. The people that are going to compare these two are crazy. That was just showing off my soil. That wasn't a comparison video between the detectors per se. It was just showing how all of the big dog detectors fall off. And this one does very good. It hangs with all of them that are $300 more or $800 more than this. You know, it's hanging right there with them in the bad soil. When you turn around and flip the script and you have cotton candy soil where you're getting 14-inch air tests, sure, that $1,600 Deus 2 starts to stretch its legs a little bit. But I think with a few updates here, I think this is going to be very competitive with the machine that it's set out to compete with, if not totally match it. And like I said, if you are a simplex owner, it's a no-brainer to pick this up. If you are looking to go from the simplex and progress into the multi-frequency range, I think that this is a no-brainer. It's built every bit as well as a simplex, if not a little bit better. And yeah, I mean, the buttons are fantastic. Nice bright screen. The menu and stuff is fairly easy. The top line up here, that can be a little bit rough to see, but everything else is pretty easy. Most of the fonts are good. The symbols are good. You'll get them. It's very easy to navigate the menu. Yeah, I think it's a home run from Nokta-Makro. I think, in my opinion, it takes the crown from the simplex for best price to performance and places it upon its head. I think this is the king of performance to price ratio. You are getting what, you're getting 95% of the Equinox as of it is right now. Once they figure out that iron bias, you're going to get the other 5% roughly, and the build quality is already twice as good. So, and I'm not pooping on the Equinox here. Settle down, all you Minelab owners. I'm not pooping on it. I love the Equinox. I love the CTX 3030. I think they're fantastic detectors, but let's be honest, you're never breaking these coil ears. This is probably going to withstand multiple dunkings, and yeah, time will tell, of course. I can't see the future, but great detector. Fantastic for the price. I think it takes the crown from the simplex for best price to performance. I really do. I think if you're ready to step up into the multi-frequency range and you're a simplex owner, this is your deal. And if you're a Vanquish owner, well, you have the 600 to step up to, and then the 800 later if you so desire, whatever you guys want. Whatever you guys want to do, it's up to you. I'm just providing the information. You do with it as you please. Hope you enjoyed this video. The Hunter GT signing off. I will see you on the next video.